Hi, I'm KStevMath, and I've decided to give people money just for answering math questions correctly. Stay tuned to see what happens, and also to find out how you can have a chance to answer math questions for money. So here's what happened. I was sitting watching Mr. Beast on YouTube the other day, and I was like, man, it is so cool that he gets to do crazy things, but he's also helping people. That's really awesome. And then people are seeing what he's doing, and they're giving him money, like by buying merchandise or by, doing whatever, so that he can keep doing what he's doing and help people. That's really awesome. And I was like, wonder if there's a way that I could do something like that. Probably not on as big a scale as Mr. Beast, but something at least. So I had this idea of, what if I ask people math questions and give them money? And what's great about it is, if you've ever asked your math teacher, when am I ever going to use this? Maybe your math teacher thinks they're a comedian like me and has commented like, well, what if somebody walks up to you and asks you to do a math question? Like, that you could use it then. That's the plan. At some point in time, I'm just gonna walk up to random people and start asking them math questions and give them money. But I started off by asking my Facebook friends for help. I actually have a lot of friends who are good at math, either because they're math teachers or got a degree in math. So after I specified that I would prefer someone who did not think of themselves as being good at math, I got one volunteer named Charlotte. I messaged Charlotte and said, hey, here's what I need you to have: a Zoom account, webcam and microphone, and a willingness to be seen on YouTube. Don't have a big channel, but who knows what could happen. She said, yeah, I've got all of those. That is the only context I gave her. And then we set up a time that worked for both of us, and that's all she knew at the start of this. Here's my brilliant idea that I had. Let me explain it to you. I'm gonna try to start this thing where I give money to people for answering math questions. This is the face of someone who's skeptical. Sounds great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're my first try. So I've got 3 questions. The first one I think is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Second one would be kind of medium. Third one, I'll admit, is a little hard. Okay.
Oh God, are these gonna be like word questions?
They're not word problems, no. I guess that would be the way to make them really tricky. They're not word problems. It's something you might see in Algebra 1, Geometry,
Oh no.
and then Algebra 2, respectively. And so here's the deal. If you get the easy one right, I'm gonna just straight up give you $5. Just for getting the easy one right. If you get the easy one right, we move on to the medium one. If you get that one right, I'll give you $20.
Okay.
Not 5 plus 20, just 20.
Okay.
Okay. If you get both of those right, then we'll move on to the hard one. If you get that one right, then I'm going to give you $100. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are you glad that you volunteered as tribute now? Not yet.
I mean, we'll see.
Okay.
I'm not very good at math. I wasn't very good at algebra and algebra 2. Slightly okay at geometry, so we'll see how this goes.
And I knew that going into it, so I'm gonna be honest. I tried to be nice. Okay. Do you have like a pencil and paper nearby just in case you need it?
I do.
Okay, that works. I really was going for something that was easy for this first question. I'm not sure how many of you would think that this was easy, but this is a fairly simple linear equation to solve that you would see actually before Algebra 1. A lot of people see this in pre-algebra or even earlier. And aside from the fact that you can use algebra to solve it, you could also reason it out in your head, or if all else fails, you could try to guess the answer and possibly figure it out that way. So I thought, you know what? I'm sure she's going to get this one. All right. You ready for this?
No, but let's go.
Okay. So question 1. Dun, 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 for $5.
Oh no. Okay.
And what's great about this is that whereas in math class, you would maybe need to show your work and do this a particular way, I don't care. You just, if whatever way you can come up with it.
The thing is, I don't remember anything about
About this, yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, you got this. I'll sip my water. Let you handle it.
Ugh. This is just bringing back like, I feel like I should know how to do it because
Yeah.
it is like simple, like algebra. I know it's simple algebra, but I cannot remember anything about 2x plus 1 equals 7 type thing. But I don't even know where to go. It's just like, x means nothing to me. I don't know what the x is supposed to represent or anything.
Well, it represents something that we don't know right now that we're trying to figure out, but that's not really very helpful, is it? Is it helpful to say that? It's something. It is a number. That's what we're trying to figure out.
I feel like there's a certain equation, like formula, that I'm supposed to remember how to do.
No, it's actually simpler than that. There's no formula for it.
No. Wait a minute. Is this where I move like the 2 over to the 7 and I like subtract it and then like
maybe. I mean, that's something, right? You could give it a try, see if it makes sense.
I don't think it's right. Right. I feel like I'm supposed to move something over to the other side. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Am I actually gonna get this? Okay. I'm kind of excited. Okay. Oh, but is it, oh, okay. 2 x equals 3.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
Yay!
Yes.
I'm so happy.
I'm so excited for you. Okay, I'm gonna give you $5 at minimum. You can't lose it. It's not gonna be one of those situations. So the way we learned to do this in Algebra 1 or earlier maybe is we talk about undoing what's happening to x. So the idea, and this is I think what Charlotte actually ended up doing, the idea here is that we are gonna subtract this 1 over to the other side so that we get 2x equals 6, and then we divide both sides by 2, and that's how we get x equals 3. Now, this may be a question that you could think through in your head by saying, okay, I'm doing 2 times a number and then I'm adding 1, it equals 7. So in your brain, you might be able to think, well, I need to take off that 1 and then figure out, what goes in for x. So x equals 3 is your answer, and that's how we can get it. This next question also has a few different ways that you can figure it out. There's also a few different ways you can write your answer. So that was one of the reasons why I picked something like this. We know 2 sides of a right triangle, and we're being asked to find the third side. What you're supposed to think of to do this is the Pythagorean theorem, is probably what most of us would think of to do first, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That'll get you the answer if you can plug it in and solve it. But if you realize that because both of these sides are 4, that means that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, then that opens you up to be able to either use trig functions like sine or cosine, or to actually say this is a special right triangle and get the answer really fast if you remember your special right triangles. Okay, so this next one is geometry. There is a formula that you can use on this one.
Can I ask for that formula?
Well, what if I tell you the name of it? That might be enough. You might need to use the Pythagorean theorem. It involves an A, a B, and a C. Any of that ringing a bell?
It does ring a bell. I think it's like A plus B equals C.
There's some squares involved. Otherwise, you've got it. But the squares are kind of important. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Oh. Wouldn't we usually use a calculator for this?
Yeah, I was going to say, I should have asked if you had a calculator. If you have like your phone calculator, that would probably work.
Calculator.
Your computer calculator should work, yeah.
Okay, so I know it's 4 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's A, B, and then C. The only thing I can't remember is once I get the 4 squared plus 4 squared, do I do C squared, and that's my answer.
I want to say yes, like C is your answer.
Oh, and I leave the squared up top.
So you want to try to figure out, like, you're going to have to figure out what C squared is, so then you can figure out what C is. And so that's a connection you might need to remember. Like, I mean, I can't see your screen, so you can type it in on the calculator and I'll never know.
Oh, I know. I know. The only thing is, okay, obviously 16 plus 16, I get my answer.
Okay. So that
But
gives
that doesn't,
you C squared. You just got to figure out what C is for $20.
don't I just divide it by 2? No, because that would still be 16. 16 plus 16. So that's C squared. So 32 is C squared, but I know I need to do something after that to find C. I'm just not sure how to do that. I'm not feeling as dumb because I got the last answer right. I'm feeling pretty dumb now.
Well, and what you've got so far, you're on the right track. I don't know if I should tell you that or not, but
that makes me feel better.
okay.
That makes me feel better that I'm on the right track. But I feel like it's common sense to just do 4 squared plus 4 squared, which is 4 squared is 16, and then you add those and then you get 32. But after that, it's like, okay, you think you have the answer, but that's not the answer because it's squared.
If only there was a way to get rid of a squared.
That's when you had that little thing, right? Like
Maybe. I mean,
do
it's not like
me.
I'm going to help you or anything.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. But that gives me a decimal.
That's one of the answers I'll accept. If it's the correct decimal, I'm fine with it.
5.7.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
That is correct.
Yay!
Charlotte actually explained what she did pretty well on this one. You would do 4 squared plus 4 squared because that's the A and B equals C squared. So that's 16 plus 16, which is 32. And so the part she got stuck on there at the end was, how do I figure out what C is? It's not that you're going to divide this by 2. It's actually that you square root both sides. So there's a few different ways actually we could write it. Some would argue that we could just leave it as square root of 32. I did accept the 5.7 that Charlotte got from her calculator. But there's also a way to do this where you simplify your square root by looking for perfect squares inside of it. So because 32 is 16 times 2, and because I can square root 16, I can also rewrite this as 4 square roots of 2. If you remember your special right triangles, and that this is a 45, 45, 90, the connection between these two legs that are the same and the hypotenuse is that the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times as big as the two legs. So you actually, if you realize that and remember your special right triangles, can know the answer without really doing any work whatsoever. That's kind of a long shot, I'm going to be honest. So on this next one, I'm going to be completely honest. I made it hard on purpose. I knew going into this that Charlotte didn't think that she was very good at math. I know now that the last math class she took was in 2015 and was like an Algebra 2 class in college. And so this is not a super hard problem in some ways, like if you've had algebra recently, but I did think it was going to be pretty hard for her. But, $100, that is something that, should take some effort. So you'll notice that I did help her out some. This is, again, a problem we could do a bunch of different ways. Some ways are faster than the other. So I'll mention the fastest way to do it, one of the fastest ways to do it is to factor it. So if you remember the word factor from Algebra 1 or Algebra 2, that's the way to get this the fastest. We also, though, can use the quadratic formula, which is where I directed Charlotte to, because I thought that would, I don't know why, but I thought that would be easier to remember than factoring. So check out how it went.
So I know I need to get the x's. I need to get that 2 out of there, and then I can get the x alone. I know that I have to get the x's. Okay. Can I just explain what I've done so far?
Go for it.
Okay. So I moved over the 24 over by the 0, so that gives me
Okay.
negative 24. So right now I have x squared plus 10x equals negative 24.
Okay.
I'm on the right track, right? No!
That x squared throws a horrible wrench into this.
Hold on. Okay. But I'm right in the sense that I have to get x alone, correct?
As far as like in general goes, yes, the idea is to get x by itself. But the way we do this, whenever we have a quadratic equation, is a little bit different. I just gave you a hint that may or may not have helped by saying that this is a quadratic equation. Not that I think you'd remember the quadratic formula, but that is one of the ways that we could solve this is with the quadratic formula.
What you're saying is multiple ways.
There are multiple ways to do this. There's a way easier way to do this than the quadratic formula, but it's still harder than what the first one was. So over the next like 5-10, I don't even know how many minutes, we didn't make much progress. And so I do end up giving a few hints and then finally end up just going ahead and giving her the quadratic formula by sending her a link to one of my own YouTube videos where I wrap the quadratic formula. If you want to check that out, you can look in the description below for it. But here is the quadratic formula on the screen.
I want to be like, can you give me a hint on what that quadratic formula is?
I could send you a link.
Okay, so I get to use a link here.
I'll send you a link in the where's the chat?
The chat.
I got it. And the reason I'm gonna send you this is one of my own videos, so this is like self-promotion.
No way. Okay. Okay. Cool. That's the what?
Did that make it worse?
Minus 4ac to ab.
Yeah.
So this is still that a squared plus b squared equals c squared type thing?
Sort of. Yeah. Like you get a, b, and c from like the problem. What's in front of x squared, what's in front of x.
So the x squared is a.
Yeah.
And then b is the 10x.
Uh-huh. But without the x's. So like b is just 10.
Oh, okay. But there's nothing for x.
Well, what
nothing for a?
How many x squareds are there? Are there 2 x squareds? Are there 3 x squareds? There's 1 x squared, so that's what a would be. A is 1.
Oh, it's just 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Part of me is like, if you don't get it at this point, then I'm just gonna throw my hands up in the air.
Honestly, I think I might get it.
I think you could.
Come on.
I do have much more faith in you now that you have the equation and know what a, b, and c are.
You've helped me this far. I'm not going to ask for another hint.
Good. I won't tell you anything else. You can't make me.
I mean, I'm just glad that this formula looks familiar to me. I'm just more sad that I couldn't remember it. But it's also been a lot of years since I've done math. So
and whoever your teacher was, they probably didn't wrap it for you. Did you listen to the video with the sound on?
No.
Oh.
I haven't even watched the whole video. I just paused at the equation.
It's a video of me wrapping the quadratic formula. So
okay, I'm gonna watch it now then.
Okay.
You're actually pretty good at rapping though.
Well, thank you.
Like some people have a voice for it and other people don't. X equals 1. B. Oh, sorry. I should say A equals 1. B equals 10. C equals 24. What if I really get this wrong though? I'm gonna be so disappointed in myself.
Just remember how far you've come. Okay.
This is true.
So
okay, but you're going to explain this afterwards, right?
Yeah, I'll explain it after.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that you want to know really, really makes my heart happy. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I haven't been this excited about math in like a long time.
Yeah.
So this is nice for me. I was kind of worried that I was gonna like make a fool of myself and be like completely dumb. But this has been like a really good experience, and just like me being like, okay, those college courses, high school, it wasn't offered on.
Yeah.
I did learn some stuff.
Yeah.
I need a few hints.
Yeah. So here's what Charlotte has so far. She's figured out that a is 1 because of the x squared not having a coefficient or a number in front means that there's a 1 there. B is 10 and C is 24. And I can't see what she's writing, but I believe that she successfully plugged these in. So -10 plus or minus the square root of 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 24 all over 2 times 1. And she gets hung up for a while, and I cut a lot of this out because she puts parentheses around some of these numbers, and then that throws her off. And I actually think this means that she's remembering something from math class. There's a thing where if we have negatives and we're needing to like square or multiply or things like that, it is important to put parentheses around -10 squared so that if we put it in the calculator, it'll do it correctly. So that ends up throwing her off for a while. I imagine that people watching right now have kind of probably fall into one of two categories. Either you are like, man, I couldn't have done this either, or wow, I can't believe that it's taking her this long to get it. Whichever one of those you fit into, that's fine. But I hope we all realize that like Charlotte was like putting herself out here, and I really appreciated what she did. She came into this with no idea what she was getting into, no prep whatsoever, and was a really good sport about it, and we really had a lot of fun. So I just wanna throw that out there for those of you especially who may be thinking, wow, I can't believe she's not getting it. This is actually pretty hard if you haven't had math in a few years.
I bet some people are going to get a good laugh out of this, though. I've been making myself a fool. Oh, man.
Chance, but there's also going to be quite a few people that are going to be like, dang, I wouldn't have known that either. So.
Oh. So then it's -4 times 24, and that just gives me the 96, is basically what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which in turn is a plus. No. I'm getting tricked up with double negative. No, it's just 100 minus 96. So it's -10 plus or minus square root 100 minus 96 over 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which will get me -10 plus or minus square root 4 over 2. Correct so far? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry you've had to help me so much. Okay.
Fine.
Now I'm just like, okay. So then I get -10 plus square root 4 over 2. And then I get a -10 minus square root over 4. Oh, sorry. Square root 4 over 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to get me my two answers. So then I just type it into the calculator?
I mean, it depends on how fancy your calculator is. You might have to be strategic about it. Because like my computer calculator only does like one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Mac has a fancier calculator on it. If you wanted to try something, you could use the website Desmos, which
Desmos?
has
okay.
Yeah, I'm typing it in the chat. It has, okay. And you click graphing calculator, and we're not graphing, but if you just type in the math you're trying to do, it will do it for you, and it lets you type in more than one thing.
This is cheating. Okay.
I won't tell if you don't. Are you subscribed to my YouTube channel?
I haven't, but I will after this because I'm going to learn a lot.
Good. Also, that'll be the easiest way for you to tell when I post this video is if you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, don't forget to like.
Okay. So the answer for -10 plus square root 4 over 2 is -4. And then the answer for -10 minus square root 4 over 2 is -6.
Final answer?
Yeah.
I need to come up with my own phrase there, but you are correct.
Yay!
I am like so impressed right now. I did not think we were going to get there.
I may have had to take a few hints from you, but that was awesome.
A couple of hints, just a couple. So that's how we would do this with the quadratic formula. There's other ways to do it. You can graph it, but that requires you knowing how to graph this. And you look for the x-intercepts. You can factor it, which I'll go ahead and remind you, factoring something like this means that you split it into 2 parentheses. And in order to figure out what goes in those 2 parentheses, you split the x squared up into the first 2 spots of your parentheses. Then you split the 24 up into the second part of each parentheses. But the way you do that is you say what multiplies to get 24 that adds to get 10. So you like think through what are the factors of 24, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and then think which of those add to get 10, which is the 4 and the 6. So we have now factored this to finish finding the answers, because if you remember the answers are -4, -6, that's because you're coming up with what does x have to be to get 0 for x plus 4, and what does x have to be to get 0 for the x plus 6. So you subtract the 4 and subtract the 6, and we get our 2 answers. X equals -4 and x equals -6. So if you remember how to factor, that would have been a faster way to do it. And I probably could have guided Charlotte through factoring, but for whatever reason, I decided to guide her through quadratic formula instead. Okay, so now I have to give you $100. Okay.
Right?
So,
okay, but low-key, even without the money, I would want to do this again, like just to test. No, seriously, I had so much fun.
I'm glad you had fun. That honestly makes my day to hear you say that, because I know I've got a clear vibe of how you feel about math from this experience, and the fact that you're like, I had fun doing this makes me feel good. Even though Charlotte said that it was fun and she would have done it even without the money being there, I did go ahead and give her the $100 for getting the 3 questions right. Here's my proof. Ended up sending it through Facebook because that ended up being the most convenient thing to do at that point in time. So there you go. Now, before I get to the part where I tell you how you can be the next person that I try to give money to for answering questions, I'd like to talk about how you can support me in my endeavor. So there's a few free ways you can do that. You can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can like this video if you haven't already. Some might say you could smash the like button. And then you can share it with friends, family, acquaintances, all of your social media followers to get this video out there so that more people see it and subscribe and like and comment and all that jazz. Because the more attention it gets, then the more that helps my YouTube channel, which allows me to try to help people more through my YouTube channel. So that's the free things you can do. But if you're also like, man, I have no desire to answer math questions to get money, but I have money and I'd like to contribute money to this, I actually already have some contributions so that I'll be able to do this quite a few more times. But if you would like to be a part of this and give money to me so that I can do this and make it be really, really cool, then in the description you can either go to my Patreon and become a patron for my YouTube, or you can go to my website and just do a straight donation through PayPal. Those 2 links are in the description. So if you want to show your support with money, then that'd be really cool. But even just subscribing and liking the video would be awesome because of how YouTube works. If you want to be the next person on when am I ever going to use this, I'm going to basically do a sweepstakes to give away that chance. So in order to enter the sweepstakes, you must be 18 or older, you must live in the United States, and there's a whole bunch of official rules and things like that. That link is in the description as well. Here's how you enter into this sweepstakes. I have a math problem on the screen right now. You find the answer to this math problem and put that in a comment below. Only do this, please, if you're 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older and you get randomly picked, then I'm gonna have to randomly pick somebody else. So that's the idea here, is 18 or older, comment with the answer to this math problem, and this is gonna be open until the end of April 30th at 11:59 p.m. I will stop comments and we'll do a random selection from the comments with the correct answer to see who the next person will be. Please only put the answer in the comment. Don't put anything else because I think that would mess with the comment picker that I'm going to use. If you're selected, here's what you can expect. I will get in touch with you and we'll set up a time to do a Zoom call. That means you'll need a Zoom account. You'll need the ability to have a Zoom call with a webcam and a microphone, and we'll find a time that works for both of our schedules to do something similar to what I did with Charlotte, and that will give you a chance to answer some math questions for some money. So that's what you're signing up for. You're not actually winning $100 by commenting. You're winning a chance to win $100, just to be clear here. This was really fun to do. I've always wanted to do something like this, so I really hope that you enjoy it and that this kind of becomes maybe not a huge thing, but a big enough thing that I can keep doing it. So thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Or maybe in a Zoom call, or maybe on the street somewhere. Thanks. Bye.